This is time-restricted eating, a strategy to improve metabolic health and longevity. What is time-restricted eating? Well, time-restricted eating, or TRE for short, is a dietary approach that focuses on when you eat rather than what you eat. People who are following a time-restricted eating pattern maintain consistent cycles of feeding and fasting. They'll eat during a set period throughout the day and fast for the remainder of it. Typically, the ratios of fasting to feeding in hours are 12 to 12, 14 to 10, or 16 to 8. In a 14 to 10 window, for example, individuals will eat for 10 hours and fast for 14. So you may eat from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. and then fast from 8 p.m. until 10 a.m. It is recommended that during your eating window, you space your meals to be approximately 4 hours apart. This prevents you from getting over hungry. When you select your eating window is entirely up to you and your lifestyle, though it is recommended that you begin eating earlier in the day as it places less of a strain on your body to process the food. Time-restricted eating aligns with the body's circadian rhythm, which is our internal clock. You may have heard circadian rhythm in relation to regulating our sleep-wake cycles, but it also regulates how easily our body processes food, specifically sugars and fats. It also influences when our hunger and fullness signals are sent out. By aligning with our circadian rhythm, we place less of a strain on the body when we're processing or metabolizing food. The reason why these windows start at a 12-hour fast is because the body switches from using sugar to using ketones. Ketones are just a chemical that's derived from fat. The importance is that ketones reduce stress on the body. So it's beneficial because it is easier for your body to process food, and it is a protective factor against chronic diseases such as hypertension, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, or high LDL cholesterol. Now, we've talked a lot about the ease of which our body processes or metabolizes food. But what is metabolism? Well, metabolism can be divided into two subcategories: catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism is the process of breaking larger compounds down into their smaller components. Anabolism does the opposite. It uses many smaller components to create a new, larger compound. These larger compounds can be used for energy or for things like muscle growth. Time-restricted eating is beneficial to all types of people, but especially people with metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is a disease in which people have at least 3 of the 5 conditions that you see in the image. So for example, if someone had high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and abdominal obesity, they would be classified as having metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is dangerous because it puts a lot of strain on the body to process food and to run its activities for daily functioning. Time-restricted eating has been proven to help regulate blood sugar levels. So when you eat sugar, which is not just table sugar, can be any sort of carbohydrate, so bread, pasta, rice is also found in fruits and vegetables. Sugar is the smaller compound that is what the larger compound's broken down into. So in your body, when you have high blood sugar, it means that your body has ineffectively processed your food. Now, our blood sugar naturally spikes after meals, and that's completely normal. But the issue is when it is chronically too high or when you can't return to a normal blood sugar level after meals. time restricted eating has been proven to improve your blood sugar control, which means that your body can have a tighter regulation of your blood sugar. So you're not going to be spiking as high and you're going to be maintaining a more consistent, healthy level of blood sugar. Another way that time restricted eating combats metabolic syndrome is that by shortening the window of time in which you are eating, even without counting calories, naturally you consume less food. So, for patients who are overweight or obese, this can help them to lose weight, which would counteract the abdominal obesity piece of metabolic syndrome. Now, let's not just take it from me, let's take a look at the evidence. So, many studies have been conducted on patients with metabolic syndrome and the effects of time restricted eating. This study shows that patients who at baseline had metabolic syndrome after undergoing a 10-hour time-restricted eating window for 12 weeks reduced their body weight, waist circumference, blood pressure, and actually improved their sleep quality. They also lowered their LDL cholesterol. So if you remember from the last slide, this targets almost all of the components of metabolic syndrome. This chart, while it looks overwhelming, is just showing us that the participants in this study improved their blood glucose control, so that's your blood sugar control, that improved. They lost weight, their good cholesterol went up while their bad cholesterol went down, and their blood pressure decreased. So that targeted all 5 components of metabolic syndrome. Now this chart really gives us a glimpse into the improvement that time-restricted eating had on patients' blood sugar control. So the orange shows what the patient's baseline blood sugar was. And as you can see, it was much higher and had more peaks and valleys than the time-restricted eating blood sugar. This was much lower and it had less spikes and valleys. So the regulation of blood sugar was much tighter and it was at a more healthy level. Now, time-restricted eating is not only beneficial for patients with metabolic syndrome, it's beneficial for all people. Let's take a look at a study that focused on metabolically healthy patients. As you can see from the chart, these patients, after undergoing time-restricted eating for 10 weeks, decreased their body fat percentage, which means they lost weight. They increased their good cholesterol and reduced their bad cholesterol, and they also improved their blood glucose control. So they lowered their natural level of blood sugar and improved the regulation of their blood sugar. Now, we know time-restricted eating is going to be beneficial, but how should we incorporate it into our daily lives? So, most important thing here is that while you can't eat during your fast, it's very important that you stay hydrated, especially if you're on a more strict fast, such as the 16:8 ratio. During your fast, you can drink water, black coffee, unsweetened tea, or electrolytes. Electrolytes are a bit of a slippery slope because they must have no added sugars or calories, but those types of electrolytes often use artificial sugars to give them flavor. So normally you won't be needing electrolytes unless you're working on a really hot day or you're an elite athlete. But if it's something you incorporate into your daily routine, try to make sure that you're getting natural electrolytes. And of course, prioritize the water and the tea and some coffee, no sugar added. Now, keeping your time-restricted eating consistent may sound challenging, but with a few practical steps, you can maintain consistency. First step, choose your window. 12 to 12, 14 to 10, 16 to 8. Whichever you choose is entirely up to you. And if you're just beginning time-restricted eating, I'd recommend starting with a 12 to 12 window. Next is meal spacing. As we discussed at the beginning of the video, aim to eat your meals roughly every 4 hours, and do begin eating earlier in the day. By eating earlier in the day, you are more aligned with your circadian rhythm, and it is even easier for your body to process food, places less of a strain on your body, and is better for you overall. Lastly, you don't have to give up plans and your social life just for time-restricted eating. If you have plans, adjust your window for the day so that you are still maintaining the same fasting to feeding ratio. You're just starting later or starting earlier. So this covers the basics of time-restricted eating and the benefits. I hope that you enjoyed the video and that you can incorporate time-restricted eating into your daily life. If you like this video and you want to learn more about topics like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and stay tuned for more videos on all things nutrition.